When are you getting married? Oh, all I want for you is to get married to a tall, dark, handsome man and start giving birth to beautiful babies. Go and marry before you come and be advising women that are in marriages. Go and marry. Your mates are married. Your time is passing. Ladies, yes, because it's mostly women. If you are among the women saying this to single ladies, stop it now because it doesn't make sense. Hello everyone, my name is Flo. Welcome to today's video. As always, from time to time, once in a blue moon, I come here and talk about social issues where they pepper me for body. I have this one. Yeah, I have them, here and there on my channel. So today is the day when we talk about this thing called marriage and the pressure on young single girls. Yeah, even those in their 30s that some people don't refer to as young. If you think deeply about this topic, you will see that you are just saying that to hurt these girls. This is not in their power. Going to get married is not in their power. How can you, if you have sense, how can you tell this to someone living in a world where women cannot propose to men? Yes, even in the Western world, it's hard to find a woman proposing to a man. And when you see that woman, trust me, that man has previously proposed to the woman and the woman said no. Either she said no, she doesn't want to get married, or she doesn't want to get married yet. You may think, oh, is she crazy? How can she be dating someone that she will not jump up when jump up at the proposal of marriage? And I tell you, yes, people have the right to say no to a marriage proposal when they are at a certain point in their lives. Yeah. There's a point you'll be, if you really have any plans for your own life, there's a stage you'll be at in your life and you will know that marriage will be a distraction at that point. I have a personal story on that. So yes, most of those proposals you see in the Western countries coming from women is actually a response to a much more earlier proposal from the man. So don't come and be thinking that it's the woman proposing to the man out of nowhere. And then you go and copy. And then you go and propose to your own man in Nigeria that doesn't even have any plans of marrying you. And then they will litter you there, abandon you there. So, majorly in the world, it's the men that propose to the women. Then bring it down to Nigeria, bring it down to Africa, the capital of patriarchy. And you will know that it's completely out of the question for a young lady to go out there and get married when she wants to get married. So telling someone, a young lady, to go and get married makes absolutely no sense. Whenever I see such a comment, I just say, this person is not smart. Yeah, even without knowing who you are, that comment alone shows that you are not smart. So stop doing it. You're actually making yourself look bad on the internet when you make such comments because it's not in her power. We women, we don't have the luxury of saying, I want to get married today, I want to get married this month, and it happens. No, because there's nothing we can do about it. Whereas a man can wake up today, like this is no cap, yeah? I'm telling you, a man can wake up in the morning and say, I must get married before evening, and lo and behold, by sundown, the man will have not one, not two, several women say yes to his proposal of marriage. Yeah, it has happened. Yeah, I remember when we were growing up, a lot of marriage contracts were sealed at Afo Market. Afo Market is where we usually go during Christmas. We go out to watch masquerades. A man can just see a girl there because it's in the village. Usually the village, it's assumed that everybody knows everybody. So it's actually safe to be looking for a wife in the village, at the market square in the village. A man can see a girl and say, hello, what's your name, young girl? My name is this, my name is that. What's your father's name? Whose daughter are you? And you just mention your surname, and chances are that the man would have heard about, at least if it's a man that Anya de known, or a man that comes to the village and knows what's going on in the village, he must have heard about that family name. If you come from a big family, by big I mean number, there are a lot of them, so their surnames like travel far and wide, so a lot of people know them. All the man will do is when he gets home, he'll ask his parents or elderly people in his family about the family name, and the person will there and then give them an all clear to go. Oh, that's a good family. That's what we say. A good name is better than silver and gold. So once it's a good family name that they have a good reputation, they say, oh, the coast is clear. And the next thing they will think about is if they are related to that family. They will think back a few generations, because if you are related somehow down the line, somewhere down the line in your generational, in your family tree, it will be a no-go area, because that will mean marry your relative. But apart from that, coast is clear. And trust me, within that Christmas, they've gone to meet the girl's parents, and that's marriage for you. They start planning the marriage by Easter, which is usually 3 months down the line. They will have the traditional wedding. They are married. So a man can decide when he wants to get married, but a woman cannot. There are so many other reasons why a young girl is not married. Number one, maybe she doesn't have suitors. Yeah, a lot of you see a beautiful girl, you assume maybe she's the one being selective. No, someone may be in her 30s and nobody, I mean no man, has ever asked for her hand in marriage. Like we say in Igbo land, like nobody has ever even asked her out to go, like to date, not to talk of marriage, for no fault of hers. It's not because she's a bad person, it's not because she comes from a bad family, it's not because of Mami Water spirit. Yeah, because once all of you see a fair, beautiful girl and she's not married and she's getting into her 30s, you automatically think she is Mami Water, selecting that she has a married husband. How do you call it? Spiritual husband or something like that. No, it's not village people either. It's just natural selection. Most of the things that happen in this life is by natural selection. It's not by going to Shiloh. It's not by praying, I tell you, because sometimes you pray, you say God is not answering your prayers. If you have not been naturally selected, which is maybe what you attribute to God, it's not going to happen. People that are not religious get married every day. In fact, it's actually those so-called bad girls, because once you're outgoing, socialize, these days we come out to socialize on social media. If you're a social butterfly, chances of you getting married is actually higher than someone who goes in to hide. And those people that usually put themselves out there, outgoing people, are usually seen as bad, not so good girls, but trust me, they get married every day. People that are atheists, people that do not worship God, get married every day. So that's how you know that it's not about prayer. It's not about how much the person prays or how such a good girl the person is. No, it doesn't happen like that. There are some people, even when they're in secondary school, suitors are already like rushing, pushing down the girl's father's gate as they're rushing to come and ask for her hand in marriage. It's just natural selection. In fact, come to think of it, a lot of people that came to ask for our hands in marriage those days have never met us for the first time. A lot of them, their parents will know our parents, and then they discuss among each other, and then the man's mother or sister suggests so girl's daughter, so woman's daughter to him. I don't even know what I'm saying again. To him, and then he will come. And that's how it works in those days. Even up till now, majority of marriages are still by recommendation of who know who. I know this person knows this person, and then they're recommended, and then they meet each other, like each other, they start getting married. So it's not about how much of a good girl you are. A lot of the marriages happen because of your mother's reputation. For instance, a lot of people that came to ask for my hand in marriage came to ask for my hand because of the way my mom is. I and my mom may look alike. We look so alike. They say I'm her photocopy. But in terms of behavior, I don't behave like my mom at all. So whoever came to marry me because of my mom's good reputation as a good woman, as a good child, would have made a great mistake, because I'm a completely different person. Not to say that I'm a bad girl. Come on, I have a very good upbringing. But the way I approach issues is not the way my mom approaches issues. My mom may not talk in certain situations while I'll get up and talk and say my opinion, something like that, which that in our culture, some people may say that you are overreaching, you talk too much, you're this, you're that, you cannot be submissive, some stuff like that. But yeah, just to tell you that most marriages happen not because of how good you are. So I don't see why you should go out there and be telling another girl to go and get married. Okay? That's number one reason. They are not actually getting suitors. Number two, they may be getting suitors, but they just don't like the person that is coming to them. You know, the disadvantage of we women is that we don't even have the luxury of saying, okay, this is who I want, and then you go for the person. No, you have to wait. People will come, and then you have to check your list. You understand? Which is not such a good position to be in. You're at the receiving end here. So you have to if you understand how these things work, you will never open your mouth to tell a single girl to go and get married or ask her when she's getting married. Like, it doesn't make sense. So these people come, and then you say, does this person fit into my life plans? Because yeah, if you're a human being, you should have a life plan. Your life plan should not end in marriage. Because a lot of young girls, what happens is that they don't have a plan for life. All they want is, I'm going to school. In fact, in school, a lot of girls will be openly saying, oh, my ultimate plan is to move from school to my husband's house. I'm not going back to my parents' house in Jesus' name. Like something like that. Like, this is what the society has made them. Like, they're thinking straight from school, marriage. But a lot of women, a lot of girls, especially these days, are thinking far ahead. They actually have lives plans for themselves. And I think it's a good reason to make sure that the person you're getting married to, because believe it or not, the trajectory your life will go in, the direction your life will follow, hugely 90% depends on who you marry. Yeah, we are married for the majority of our lives. A lot of people get married as teenagers, I mean, in their 20s. You can imagine being married in your 20s and you live to be 80 with your spouse. How long have you been married? So you need to actually put a lot of who you marry, like a lot of things into consideration when you're getting married. Don't just walk into a marriage blindly, no matter what they say to you, because you want to get married. No, don't let anybody push you into that. And you that is asking single ladies when they're getting married, stop it. Stop pushing these girls into marriages in the name of pleasing the society. As I'm thinking about it now, I'm remembering a lot of reasons why I turned out some suitors when I was in university. Because yes, come to think of it, most of my suitors came when I was at uni. You see, a lot of us, believe it or not, a lot of us girls back then already had our lives planned out ahead of us. And look, it was important, especially to me, I will speak for myself, it was very important to me that the man that I was getting married to fit into that. Because yes, I actually have a plan for my life. My plan did not end with getting married to someone. No, by my second year in uni, I already had the kind of career I wanted in mind. You see, in uni back then, we had this general class where everybody came, all the engineering students. In our first and second year, we had this course that all the engineering students did together. So we had one in first year, one per semester, and we had another one in second year. So one day, as we were strolling towards the class to that big hall to have the lecture, we saw some of our fellow students coming out, and we were like, what's going on? What's happening? Is the lecture not holding anymore? They were like, oh, that place is in use. That the Schlumberger recruiters came to interview potential 2-1 and first class students. There, we call them potential 2-1. Because by your fourth year in uni, you already know what you have in mind, what you graduate with. I mean, if everything goes according to plan, if you didn't completely miss all your exams in final year, if you already have 2-1, a minimum of 2-1, chances are that you will graduate with 2-1. So we call them potential 2-1 students and first class students. So this was in the 90s. You know, some of you here, some of you watching me now, were not born then. I was at uni in the 90s, and then Nigeria was still good. Even though then we were singing Nigeria Jaga Jaga, but Nigeria was still actually good. There were still jobs. That was still a time when the children of nobody can get a job without knowing anybody. So back then, these oil companies came to our faculty to actually interview these students. They will sit for tests, and if you do well, they will influence your NYSC posting to Rivers State. You come and serve with them, and after that, they do further interview and they employ you as a full-time employee. That's how a lot of people that were in their fourth year back then got their jobs in my department and in my faculty. I said, wow, so this job is within reach, because I must enter. From my second year, I started studying hard. So You can imagine me having this dream of working with an oil company or an oil services, just oil related industry, working in an oil related industry. And you're somebody that lives in, say, Benin. It's actually a true story. Somebody that lived in Benin came for my hand in marriage when I was in uni. And I said no because of that. You may think it's a silly reason or a petty reason for saying no to marriage, but it's actually a good reason, because in Nigeria, if you want to increase your chances, or if you actually want to have the opportunity at all, not even increase, because they don't exist elsewhere, of getting a job in an oil company, you have to live in Eket, you have to live in Warri, Port Harcourt, or at least the whole of Rivers, maybe other parts of Delta State, but Warri for sure. If you want to work in the corporate offices of these companies, you want to be in Lagos. But of course, I've always wanted to work in the field. So I already was thinking of positioning myself in these cities that I mentioned to increase my chances of getting that job, you know? So somebody that lived in Benin, I can't even imagine what my life would be like. I can imagine it actually. Probably I would have had 4 children by now that are of marriage age, because I'm telling you, this was when I was at uni. So if I had married that person and started having children immediately, my kids would have been in their 20s by now. Yeah. And yeah, I would have been a full-time housewife. I can't even, I can imagine it, but that cannot be me. Yeah, that cannot be me. It's not because the man is a bad man. No, somebody may be a good man, but if getting married to them would change your life's plans in the opposite direction, it's totally a good reason to say no to that marriage proposal. So stop telling people go and get married. There are so many good reasons. In fact, now that I'm thinking, I'm remembering other reasons you may say that are petty, but when I actually sit down and explain them to you, you see that they're actually good reasons. If you want to see a video on that, because I'm not going to my grave with those reasons. If you want to laugh with me, if you want a video on that, let me know in the comments and I'll set up my camera and make that video for you guys. And then another good reason, I am Ada. Okay, so my plan has always been, okay, my parents were civil servants and they've always toiled to see us through school. So my plans all this while have been to get a good job and take away their responsibility from them. And I was happy. I am happy till today that I was able to do that. As soon as I got my job, I told them, hands off everybody. At some point, I was training 2 people at uni, 1 person in secondary school, and helping 1 person through business. So that made me so happy, more than any marriage in this world would have made me happy. And you can imagine if I had married that man that lived in Benin, that would never have happened. Probably even to buy my own underwear, I'll have to be begging the man for money. If you're begging your husband for money to buy your undies, how can you lift up your own family? It's not going to work. So till today, I am happy that I did not get married to a lot of people that I got. I am happy that I pursued my own life. I followed my life's trajectory the way I planned it. I took actions. Part of those actions was saying no to people that did not match, that were not, if you imagine your trajectory so well, you begin to see people in that trajectory. As soon as you hear someone's proposals, you start imagining, is that person on this trajectory, or the person is in the opposite trajectory? If not, you leave that person for someone that will enjoy him the way he is to marry him. There's no need to marry people for marriage sake, and then you enter that marriage and you're bitter for it, because I would have been a bitter wife for the rest of my life if I had married that man. That man would not have enjoyed being married to me, because every day he came back, I would be frowning. I wouldn't be happy. I may not say, but I will never be happy being in such a marriage where I'm not doing the career doing the job I've planned, I've planned out in my head that I would do. Even if I didn't eventually get the job that I wanted, at least I would have gotten a job. I mean, at the end of the day, I would have gotten a job. Around that time that we graduated was actually when all these MTN, V-Mobile, then it was, what was it then? What was it then? Econet, yeah. All these mobile phone companies, you see now, that was when they sprang up, around the time we graduated. Most of my class people went on to work for these companies. A lot of people got jobs in banks. So I would still have positioned myself in such a way that I'll still get a good job with a good pay, enough for me to do the things I wanted to do for my family. So stop saying this to single girls. You don't know what they're going through. Yeah, I've given how many reasons now? Actually 3 reasons I've given why there are so many other reasons, other personal reasons. Some people don't want to get married. Yeah, believe it or not, some people secretly, they can't come out to say it, but secretly they don't want to get married. Leave them alone. When the time is ripe, they will go and adopt a baby, or they'll actually go and have a baby, and that's all they need. Because not everybody is in the emotional place to take care of other people. Believe it or not, when women get married, we are natural nurturers. We start immediately to take care of the man. Very soon kids will start coming. You start taking care of kids. Some people are so self-aware early in life that they know that they're not cut out to be this. Leave them alone. Not just leave them alone. You're making a fool of yourself when you make such comments, no matter how it's disguised. Yeah, some of you say, hey, I love this person so much, I just can't wait to see her wedding. No, you don't want that wedding more than she wants it. Stop telling her that. Always remember that it's not in her power to go and find a man and marry. It's not in her power. A lot of women that have forced themselves on men, they will tell you how it's going. So stop it. Stop telling people these things, because you don't know at which stage they are in their life. You don't know if they've come close to getting married to somebody and they were disappointed. You don't know all this. And when you tell them these things, all these thoughts, all these sad thoughts start rushing back to them. You don't want to be an agent of sadness. The one that baffles me the most is that sometimes when single ladies are giving their opinion about all these things that happen in marriage, you know, all these hide my ID things where people drop their opinions. When single ladies drop their own, you see a lot of people go and marry first before you come and start advising women to leave their marriages. I mean, some of these things, this hide my ID, do you guys read those hide my ID things? I don't even know what to call them. You never catch me advising such people, because honestly, I believe that those people already know what to do, because you just need common sense. You don't need marriage experience to be able to know. I read one day. If you see the gory details, my husband beats me. In fact, he beat me when I was pregnant. I stayed in the hospital for 3 months on bed rest. And then when I came out, I gave birth by CS. And I still had my CS stitches when he beat me again, and my CS stitches tore. In fact, as I am talking to you now, as I'm writing this, I am in the hospital. Please advise me, what do I do? So you're trying to tell me that this issue now, the prerequisite is being married before you can advise this person. Even my daughter Ned can advise this person. Because, like, why do people attach everything to marriage? A lot of people that get married, do they have experience before they get married? You don't need experience for certain things that happen in marriage. You just apply common sense in a lot of it. If your life is flashing through your eyes like this, you're about to die, somebody's son is about to kill you, the only thing to do is run. There's no advice needed. Unless you left your brain in your mother's womb, the only thing to do is to run. But when a single young girl comes and advises you to run, which is like, why should somebody even waste her breath in giving you that advice? Because it's common sense. Some people will come and tell her to go and get married first before she can advise someone to run for her life. Like, a lion is coming, and somebody advised you, run away now, a lion is coming, go and hide. And they say that you need to have been eaten by a lion before you can advise. Like, I don't get it. So ladies, that's all I have to say about this topic. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and let me know what you think about this topic in the comments below. Ginger me so that next time, once I get a thought about social issues that pepper me for body, I'll have the ginger to set up my camera and come and talk about it. Yeah? Bye bye. See you soon.